I'm from Cambridge University. I just would like to actually quote from my own experience of actually meeting people here, and then about the topic which Mr. Chawla raised about having a foreign educated people mostly as heads of institutions in India. I met a recent graduate who did a master's in history from the University of Madras, and out of curiosity I just asked them about what is the syllabus. And he said very proudly that they're still at the master's level being taught Aryan invasion theory. I can promise you, with 100% confidence, that in an undergraduate interview to Oxford or Cambridge, if you even if you hypothesize about Aryan invasion, you would be immediately rejected admission at undergraduate level. That is the state of education and brainwashing that has gone into this country, which you being taught a discredited theory, which Ambedkar...
What are your questions?
Yes, 78 years ago he said it's completely baseless. And these are the people who are coming out of Indian University, and I would rather have people who are educated in Cambridge or Oxford or Harvard as heads of institutions here, who know at least proper
What
history.
is your question?
Yeah, why shouldn't we get those people who are educated abroad in a much more neutral, scientific way as heads here than these brainwashed people from our universities becoming the heads?
I will only say this to the student from Cambridge. The Fields Medal honor went to a mathematician called Manjul Bhargav. In Princeton, his class, which is the most famous, is mathematics for non-mathematicians. I have had the privilege of having talks with Manjul on many an occasion, and I know him well. And when I asked him, I said, what excites you most about teaching that class? He says, I teach that class in Sanskrit and in poetry from India, and poetry that my mother got from her house in Jaipur. Now imagine Manjul trying to do the same in India. There would be protests against him. There would be articles against him. But I'm of the opinion if you have the capacity to now discuss how skewed the discussion on Aryan invasion is, that means that the youngsters more and more, by leveraging technology, because of the expansion of platforms for debate, at least know what you're reading which is wrong, or know what you're reading which can be challenged. One of my challenges as a minister is that, as Prabhuji said, education is in the concurrent list and also a state subject. And even though it's a state subject, we, center or state, leave it to the academic world to give us a new, a model syllabi, which can then be done in terms of, disseminating the information to the students. Now that is where the challenge lies, as to how much can the center or the states push and ask for curriculum revision, because every education minister that I have met in the country, and I even have parliamentarians sitting here, an ex-colleague, though he's from the left, Rajiv is sitting here today, and we've had many discussions in parliament. We all want a change in curriculum, but there is a constitutional maryada beyond which we cannot go, and it is then the responsibility of the institutions and the academicians leading those institutions that actually now need to relook at curriculum and say, what is it that is obsolete? What is it that needs to be newly infused? That is their responsibility. And I'm hopeful, like yesterday in my meeting, I told every education minister, I said from an administrative point of view, the least we can do is in every state amalgamate all the government school principals, government college principals, train them from an academic leadership perspective as to what is the intervention they need to make, empower them with information, and then hope that they follow suit. Because like I said, there is a constitutional maryada that neither I or any state can breach. So I'm hopeful, at least with those intervention and outreach programs, the curriculum change that you talk about is undertaken by institutions at large.
Hello everyone. My name is Vijay and I'm a power system engineer. I have two questions. One is when do you think, the Aryan Dravidian theory will get its final blow?
I don't know. I think the scholars are hitting at the Aryan invasion theory. And my interest is, what I'm saying is there is no Aryan party like Dravidian party. There is no Aryan political movement, but there is Dravidian political movement. Let me just give my answer, okay? I'll come to that. So the blow has to come on the Dravidian side first, but the scholars are focusing on refuting the Aryan theory. The political power today is in political doctrines and parties that are calling themselves Dravidian. There is no Aryan party that we have to fight. So there is a disconnect from our side. The real nexus to fight is the Dravidianism, but the scholars are fighting Aryan invasion theory. So we have to shift our target. There has to be more research on the so-called Dravidian languages, their texts, what is their philosophy, what is their commonality, and if you can sort of diffuse that Dravidianism politically, then the Aryanism will also be gone. That's my approach.
And therefore, I think we need now a new textbook committee set up by some very eminent experts. I would advise the Government of India to ask a person like Rajiv Malhotra, who is presently based in the United States, to head it, and write down the syllabus that should be really there in the books that should be written. And